Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this very special Waymaker virtual snapshot. My name is Sean Moore. I am the director of Waymaker School of Ministry. And again, so good to have you with us for this event. And I encourage you as we go throughout this time, the goal is to give you a snapshot, a picture of Waymaker, how it lives, and just to see if this is something that God would have you step into as your next step in whatever season or stage of life that you are in. And as you have questions, as we cover different topics and give you kind of an overall picture, I encourage you to drop those questions into the comment section because I know we won't hit every question, but if you can drop it in the comment section, let us know, and we will be looking at that, and we'll get back to you to answer that question throughout this time. So be sure to take advantage of that. And so I want to jump into this question right out of the gate. Who is Waymaker for? Well, maybe you've thought or said this: I feel like I'm called to ministry, but I'm not really sure what do I do about that. I serve at church, but I know that there's just a lot more that's inside of me that needs to be grown and needs to be developed and have an outlet maybe. But, or maybe you say this: I don't know exactly what God has for me, but I feel this pull toward leadership. Maybe if you thought some of those things, you felt some of those things, Waymaker very well could be your next step. So specifically, what is Waymaker School of Ministry? It is a 2-year ministry training program of Victory Family Church, and we're here in Cranberry Township, Pennsylvania. It's a suburb of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. All right. So what do? We equip students who are hungry to fulfill God's call on their life by providing hands-on experience and practical knowledge so that they become these world-changing catalysts in the body of Christ. Wherever God would send them, and they're going to make an impact wherever they go. And so attached to Waymaker, there are basically 4 pillars, if you will, of development. And we emphasize a biblical foundation, right? All comes back to knowing God through His Word, knowing the Bible, knowing the Scripture, not just academically in our heads, but really from our hearts to know God through that. Also having and developing Christ-like character and also academic excellence. That's a value of ours, as well as the ministry and the leadership, the practical skills that are involved in just doing ministry every day, week in and week out. So those are our 4 pillars of development. Now, Waymaker offers 2 distinct programs, right? 2 big picture programs where this splits off. And so one of those is our traditional program. And this is basically our full-time, daytime program. And it's aimed at that 18 to 30 range, kind of that college season of life. You're a high school graduate looking for that next step, right? Evening program is a weekly evening program. It's in the night. Currently, it's a Tuesday night for about 3 hours on a Tuesday night. And that's, again, aimed at people that are in that you're working full-time, right? You're not going to have the margin for this, full-time program to get involved in. So we have the evening program geared toward those. And we generally say that's aimed at like a 25 and up age group. So those are the 2 big picture programs that we're looking at, all right? Now, within those 2 programs, here are the constants. Regardless of the program, there are these 4 components that help get these 4 pillars that we talked about before, right? So these 4 components are academics, ministry classes, ministry training, as well as student life, all right? These 4 things are the outline of what we're going to look at in this virtual snapshot together. This is our agenda, all right? So this is what we're going to dive into. First up is academics. Academics, right? Boom. Waymaker offers within academics, you got 2 options here, all right? The first is there's a certificate, and there's also a degree option. So certificate option, degree option. So let's look at the certificate first. The certificate in the traditional program, what that actually means is students receive ministry training and classes at Waymaker, but then they're also enrolled in some online courses from Charis Bible College, which is a great Bible school. It's not accredited though. It wouldn't, you're not going to transfer those credits necessarily to a college or a university. Provide some extra biblical education that you might be missing out on by not doing the degree program, for example. So that's the certificate option and how it plays out in the traditional program. Now, on the evening program, how the certificate plays out is students receive the weekly ministry training and classes, but you're not actually enrolled in any degree courses from Southeastern. There's no other things you're taking. It's just that weekly evening that you're a part of. All right? So that's all wrapped up, certificate option. Now let's go to switch gears here. Let's look at the degree option. And man, this is a great opportunity. And this is all due to our partnership with Southeastern University. They're down in Lakeland, Florida. And that's where students take those classes from Southeastern University, Christian college, Christian university, and they pursue a regionally accredited degree while they're receiving the hands-on ministry training, all the things that are happening in person here. You're taking these online classes with Southeastern University. So we want to give you a quick snapshot and picture of what Southeastern University is all about and that partnership that we have with them. So here's a quick video to give you an idea of what that looks like. All right, so why Southeastern University? Well, first of all, they are regionally accredited. Now, what does that mean? That means they have the highest level of accreditation that you can have as a degree granting institution, which is great because that means that, for one, your credits are going to transfer wherever you want to go after your 2 years in Waymaker. It also means that you can receive federal financial aid as well for your tuition and all that. So that's a huge, huge benefit. But some other things about SCU is that they're a growing university, quickly growing, and they're also Christ-centered in their education. They are a Christian university. So we're really excited about this partnership that we have with them. Now, let's look at some of the specific undergrad degree programs that we offer through this partnership with Southeastern. Now, first of all, there's an associate in general education. Now, think about this as like going to community college for a couple of years to get your general studies done, all right? So maybe you're coming right out of high school, and maybe you don't necessarily want to major in some of these other things that are available to you. You have something else in mind. Well, what you can do is do the associate in general education, get those core classes, get those fundamental things done during your 2 years at Waymaker, and then after Waymaker, transfer those to whatever college or university that you want, right? That's the benefit of that regional accreditation. Another opportunity here is the Associate in Ministerial Leadership, 2-year degree. Again, it's on ministerial leadership, kind of like a leadership degree meets theology degree, sort of all wrapped up in one. And then there's also the Bachelor in Ministerial Leadership. That's a 4-year degree. And what's unique about that is that you can actually customize and kind of have a specific track for that as you go through that degree. And here are the 4 tracks that are available to you in that Bachelor in Ministerial Leadership. You can have a track in biblical studies or Christian ministry or humanitarian ministry or pastoral care and counseling. So there's a lot of opportunities to kind of customize that degree as you go through that. And you can learn more about that by going to our website and see more about those degree options that we have through our partnership with SCU. So that's a good bit about our degree option under our academics component. But now let's switch gears. Let's take a look now at the ministry class component of Waymaker. Now, we basically break down our ministry classes into these 2 categories, if you will. There are spiritual foundations, and then there's ministry foundations. Now, for the traditional program, you're getting both of these. Now, for the evening program, we really focus on the ministry foundations side of things. But let's go through these. Spiritual foundations classes, some examples. There are foundational doctrines of understanding principles and practices of faith, understanding the person and the work of the Holy Spirit. Those are just some quick examples of what might be covered in some of those types of classes. And there's also ministry foundations, which is like self-leadership, leading a team, longevity in ministry, how you actually last and have the habits and the practices to make it in ministry, right? And all of these ministry classes are taught by our Victory staff and pastors and lay leaders in the church, as well as people from outside of Victory Family Church that can come in and pour in and equip you as a student for ministry and all God has called you to be and to do. So those are our ministry classes. Now let's take a look at our ministry training. Now the ministry training component is what we call practicum. This is the hands-on ministry training component of Waymaker, where students learn directly from Victory staff in a specific area of ministry life. Now, here are those specific areas, the specific practicums that we offer. There's pastoral ministry, there's student ministry, children, working in worship, production, creative ministries. There's a whole lot wrapped up within each of these areas available to you. So I want you to hear directly from each of these practicum leaders and what each of these areas might look like.
In the production practicum, you will acquire a comprehensive understanding of live audio, video, and lighting technologies, and the skills to operate in different areas of production. This practicum includes hands-on instruction in multiple environments, giving you the tools and expertise you need to create a high-end, distraction-free weekend experience.
In the Creative Practicum, you will dive into two key areas of visual ministry, graphic design and videography. Sit under the leadership and instruction of the creative team at Victory and gain experience designing graphics for church services, print marketing, and digital media. Learn to capture photos and videos in ways that can be transformed into dynamic and engaging video pieces to illustrate the impact a life of following Jesus can have on our people and our community. If you're a creative-minded person that is passionate about using your talents to help ministries create exciting and relevant digital content, consider joining the Creative Practicum at Waymaker.
In the Worship Practicum, you will gain hands-on experience to create and master excellent live worship services. Using industry standard equipment and methods, along with receiving the mentorship of experienced professionals, you will have the opportunity to grow, learn, lead, and do great things in the area of your gifting. Together, we will dive deep into the true heart of worship. We'll explore the fundamentals that go beyond the music and the practices that take place behind the scenes to ensure a rich understanding of the function and purpose of vocational worship ministry.
In the Children's Practicum, you'll experience the privilege of investing in the next generation and helping them build their spiritual foundation so that they can know God, find freedom, discover purpose, and make an impact. You'll learn the ins and outs of what it takes to run weekend services, how to lead teams, and how to pull off large-scale events. Your leadership skills will expand as you learn how to do ministry with kids. Our ultimate goal is to have fun and equip you to be able to apply the information you learn to any church setting.
In the Student Ministries Practicum, we'll work together to define and to polish the greatness that God has placed inside of you and to pour into the lives of others. Proverbs says this, that a wise man pulls out the potential in people. You'll learn to see opportunity in all people, lifting their arms when seemingly nobody else will, and to give them hope. You'll become a minister of peace, kindness, joy, love, mercy, and you'll learn how to have longevity as a leader by utilizing the gifts that God has placed in other people's lives, which in turn will help them walk in their God-given calling. As you learn to do ministry with the next generation, you'll also grow in your leadership and your public speaking abilities. Everything that we do in this practicum is about helping you grow in the pastoral calling that God has placed on your life.
In the Pastoral Practicum, you will explore an extensive track that offers training in diverse areas of pastoral ministry. By engaging and working with Victory's executive staff, you will be coached in ministry areas such as care, missions, outreach, marriage, family, and small groups. You'll learn firsthand how to minister through others by developing and equipping teams to do the work of the ministry. And you'll continue to develop as you participate in hospital and nursing home visitation, prayer team ministry, and spiritual guidance sessions. You also learn the various aspects of ceremony preparation involved in wedding officiation, funerals, and committal services. Our goal is to provide you with applicable training that prepares and propels you into your calling.
All right, so that's a quick look at each of the practicums that we offer as part of the ministry training component of Waymaker. But now we're going to switch gears. Let's take a look at student life, which is kind of like a broad category of a number of different things. It's a component of the everyday relational, spiritual, and physical aspects of Waymaker. Now, it does look a little bit different, each of these things, as we compare the traditional program and the evening program. So let's dive into each one of these. So chapel, that's a once a week, kind of like a service for our traditional program students. We have guest speakers in, other pastors and leaders kind of come in and minister to the students. We have times of just worshiping together, praying together. It's an amazing environment. There isn't something that specific in the evening program, but there is currently a time of worship. We get to kind of worship and pray together in the evening program. Now, staff teachings, that's only traditional program. That's actually a time where our traditional students get to be a part of our weekly kind of teaching training time that our Victory staff goes through. Mission trip, that's true for both programs. Every single Waymaker student goes on one mission trip. Doesn't have to be international, but it can be one mission trip over their 2 years in Waymaker. Man, it's a great thing. If you've never been on a mission trip, man, you are going to love being a part of that. So the other thing is small groups. Every single student, regardless of program, you're involved in a small group. You might be just in a small group. There'll also be times where you're leading a small group. But small groups are a key component for Waymaker School of Ministry students. Workouts. For the traditional program, it's built into your schedule. There's a time where you're actually working out and you might go, oh my gosh, I have to work out. Like, yeah, but you know what? It's an awesome time. We have a personal trainer that comes in, works with you, and and really gives you not just the what or how to do it and just makes you suffer the whole time, right? But actually gives you, purpose. There's meaning behind it. I like to jokingly say that, you know what? You can't do ministry if you're dead. Right? So what does that mean? We got to take care of our physical bodies. It matters. It matters for us to last in ministry. We've got to take care of this because we begin giving stewardship over our bodies. It's why we do it, right? So you have that built into your schedule of your traditional program. Evening program, it's a weekly workout log attached to that. There's also conferences and events, leadership events that we invite you to make sure that you can be a part of. And that's true for both programs. So that's a little bit of a picture of our student life component, but you've heard enough from me. I want you to be able to hear directly from our students who actually lived in all of this stuff and hear a bit from their experience in Waymaker.
Hi, I'm Sarah. My name is Mariah.
I'm Becky. Kayla.
Nate.
Maddie. Serena.
Hi, my name's Adam. I'm a Waymaker student. So Waymaker has really made a big impact on my life.
I feel like these past 2 years has been the most growth I've ever had.
Waymaker has given us a really rounded education.
I've grown as a person and I've grown spiritually.
You really get to have those practical ministry experiences.
You learn something Monday, and then by Tuesday, you're already using that knowledge.
We are such a family here.
The community is just amazing.
I'm surrounded by a staff that cares for me, loves me, prays for me.
We just walk through life together and do life together.
Awesome. You know, we have a saying here at Waymaker, and that is that Waymaker isn't just about what you know. It's not just about what you can do. It's about who you become. Now, you might say to that, okay, it sounds awesome, but practically, what's on the other side of Waymaker? What might some of the potential outcomes be? So let's look at some of those. One potential outcome is that you choose to continue your education or maybe even transfer. So students can choose to continue their education with Southeastern University, or they can transfer their credits to any college or university. Right? That's particularly true for those that would be coming out of our traditional program, right? Another potential outcome is you receive assistance from us. We come alongside you with a job placement or an internship opportunity, right? We want to help you realize those next steps. And certainly positions, they're not guaranteed, but we're going to utilize our influence to assist our students in finding and realizing those opportunities. Another potential outcome of your time in Waymaker is a potential third-year internship. Again, this is really particularly true of those coming out of our traditional program. But after completing the 2-year program, students can apply for an internship, kind of like a third-year internship there. Another potential outcome is the possibility of you being hired here at Victory Family Church, because certainly positions are not guaranteed, but we do consider our graduates as a place that we're going to look when there is a position that does need to be filled here as a part of our Victory staff. So those are some of the potential outcomes for your time in Waymaker. But let's take a look at right now. What is your next step? Maybe you heard all this information, you're kind of like, all right, I'm feeling it. Or maybe you say, I still need some more information. I still have some more questions. Awesome. Maybe you've even dropped some questions in the comments. You got some things answered, but you want to have more time to actually just talk with somebody, engage with us. And I want to point you towards some next steps. One simple thing you can do, get out your phone, text the word Waymaker to the number 97,000. Waymaker is the message, 97,000 is the number. Another thing you can do is connect with us a little bit more by going to waymakerschool.com/visit. If you go there, you see there's a lot of different ways that you can connect with us. There's certainly virtual snapshots. You've already done that, but there's also informational meetings, preview days. Again, there's different places on our website. You can submit a question to us, all kinds of different things you can take advantage of. So be sure to do that. We would love to connect with you and help you take whatever next step that God has for you. Now, you may say, I don't need any more information. Let's do this thing, baby. All right. You can jump in and do that. Again, waymakerschool.com, click the apply button, and you can start the application today. So, hey, thank you so much again for taking the time to join us on this virtual snapshot of Waymaker. I hope you got a little bit more clarity. And really, our hope is that wherever God has for you in your next step, man, that you get there and we can help come alongside you to whatever that looks like to see you realize everything that God has for you to be and everything God has for you to do. So thank you so much again for joining us for this Waymaker virtual snapshot. We hope to see you again real soon.